There is a lake in Antarctica that has been sealed off from the outside world for 15 million years. It sits under 4 kilometers of ice with no sunlight, and it is saved for the finale. First, step through real places on Earth that still leave experts without firm answers. In Minnesota, a split waterfall called Devil's Kettle sends half the Brule River into a hole and hides the trail. For more than a century, people tried dye, ping-pong balls, GPS tags, and colored logs. Nothing returned downstream. A 2017 state study showed the total flow matches above and below the split, so the missing water likely rejoins out of sight, yet traces have never appeared. Deep in Peru's Amazon, the Ashaninka long described a river that nearly boils. In 2011, geophysicist Andres Russo measured Shanay Timpishka at about 86 degrees Celsius along roughly 6.4 kilometers, up to 25 meters wide and 6 meters deep. There is no nearby volcano, and current research points to unusually hot groundwater rising through faults, a geothermal configuration that remains one of the world's oddest anomalies. Across Namibia's desert grasslands, millions of bare fairy circles dot the land in patterns so regular they look engineered. Circles span about 2 to 15 meters, ringed by taller grass. One camp links them to sand termites documented at many sites, while another shows models where plants self-organize under water stress. Field data supports both, and as of 2024, neither side has closed the case. Himba tradition calls them the footprints of the gods. High in southern Peru, the Nazca made giant ground drawings that only make sense from above. Decades of surveys found hundreds of geoglyphs shaped like animals and lines. In 2019, archaeologist Masato Sakai's team, using machine learning, flagged 143 more, and by 2023, the count rose by over 300 additional figures. The catalogue has more than doubled, while the purpose remains unsettled among theories ranging from ritual paths to sky-focused offerings. In Romania, workers opened Movile Cave in 1986 and found toxic air and a sealed world. Oxygen is roughly 1/3 of normal, with high carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. Yet an entire food web thrives on chemosynthetic bacteria. Researchers have logged 48 species inside, with 33 found nowhere else. Entry is tightly controlled because breathing the air unprotected causes harm, and this closed system has evolved on its own for about 5.5 million years. Tanzania's Lake Natron preserves animals like a natural embalming lab. Its water is highly alkaline, with a pH around 9 to 10.5 and rich sodium carbonate. Birds and bats that die there can calcify quickly, as photographed by Nick Brandt along the shore. Lesser flamingos exploit the harsh setting by nesting on seasonal salt flats where few predators can follow. Off Yemen in the Indian Ocean, Socotra Island has run its own evolutionary story for around 20 million years. About 1/3 of its plants are endemic, including the dragon's blood tree that yields a red resin used for medicine and dye since antiquity. Botanists have catalogued more than 800 plant species, with roughly 275 unique to the island, including the bottle-like cucumber tree. UNESCO named it a World Heritage Site in 2008, and conflict since 2015 has limited new fieldwork. Near Buffalo, New York, a small flame flickers behind a waterfall in a shale alcove. Eternal Flame Falls runs on natural gas seeping from the rock. A 2013 study found the source shale is only about 45 degrees Celsius, too cool for standard gas formation models. Visitors can relight the flame when wind or spray puts it out, and geologists still debate the origin. In Norway's Hessdalen Valley, unexplained lights have shown up for at least 2 centuries. Since the 1980s, scientists have monitored the area with cameras, radar, magnetometers, and spectrometers. About 20 anomalous light events are logged weekly. Spectra sometimes match plasma and show elements like silicon, iron, aluminium, and scandium. Yet proposed mechanisms have not fit every observation. But the last one might be the most surprising of all. Under East Antarctica's ice, Lake Vostok spans about 250 by 50 kilometers, with an estimated 5,400 cubic kilometers of water. Radar, seismic, and satellite work in the late 20th century mapped it, and cores showed ancient overlying ice, indicating isolation that may stretch 15 to 25 million years. In February 2012, a Russian team reached the lake surface at about 3,769 meters depth, and rising water provided samples. DNA sequencing found thousands of genetic fragments, some familiar, some linked to extreme environments, and about one-third unmatched in databases. Critics raised contamination concerns, and follow-up studies continue the debate while extreme conditions are not disputed. Pressure is roughly 350 atmospheres, temperatures sit near freezing, and oxygen could be many times higher than in typical lakes. Teams now sample water that enters the borehole to reduce contamination risk, and discussions continue over future access. Other Antarctic lakes like Whillans and Mercer also hold microbes, but they are smaller and less sealed. The next samples from Vostok are watched closely because life there has been evolving without sunlight or contact for geological time. Which place would you put at the top of the mystery list?